Alright, I got it worked out. The piece of paper is cut at 5 inches by 8.5, and I have scored it at 2 3/8, 2 3/4, 5 3/4, and 6 1/8. Now I'm just going through and scoring where I have scored it. I mean, I'm burnishing where I've scored. I just realized what I said. Okay, now, not sure if, yeah, you can kind of see, even on this dark paper. Let's see, I am going to cut away these 2 little squares here, and then from this little square up, I'm going to remove all of that, and I will be right back. Now, can y'all see? Get all this mess cut off. Okay, once the box is cut, you can see that I notched out where these 2 little squares were at. Okay, then up here where the other square, where the 2 score lines meet, I cut that section completely out, and then I notched the 2 sides. And I did that just now so that when I fold, I'm going to fold these in, and this is going to go on the outside, that they all match up. Okay, so that is the shape of the box, and this is going to close, and there is about a 1/2 inch difference right here. Put that there. There's about a 1/2 inch difference from the base to where the lid stops, and that is fine. I have some little magnets that I'm going to use to put on to hold. You can use Velcro or anything that you would like. And then we can also decorate with cutting a piece of cardstock. You can do just the front's probably all I would say for this, since it's just a Halloween treat holder. I mean, if you want to get fancy, I guess you could put one on the back. You could also make a liner to go on the inside. I'm just going to do the lid, which I think we should probably decorate that first before we build the box. Alright, the next step I've done is I cut a piece of Tangerine Tango to 3 7/8 by 2 1/4. And I am just taking my Stamp Right basic black marker, and I'm just running it right now along the edge. Okay, now I'm going to carefully, I'm lightly going, just slightly. It's not really like a sponged effect that you'd get from a sponge. I'm just barely covering, I mean just such a small amount right across the top, or all the way around the edges. Okay, now I'm trying to decide. I like doing, here's a couple little pieces I had done already. This is with the mask, and I used the mask, and I've used it with sponging. Here's another version of where I have used the mask, but on the natural whites, and it turns out pretty cool. But I think for this, I am just going to make my own stripes. And they don't have to be uniformed or anything, because the majority of you don't even really have to cover the whole thing, because it's all going to be covered up with, I've cut, this is going to go over the top. This is just my bottom layer. This will be my top layer. This is going to have to be a little wider. And over here a little wider. So it's showing. Okay, now let's try this again. All right. All right. There we go. Can we see that? Alrighty, I decided to change my mind. I'm still going to use the pumpkins, and I will show you those again in a sec, but I am going to use the Sands and Stripes by Stampin' Up. It's a photopolymer stamp, and I already have the word trick laid out on my block. And I used the graph paper to make sure I had it straight. And I'm inking it up. Now, for those of you who have used the photopolymer stamps a lot, I've seen different things, and it does work. A lot of times when you press on a real hard surface, the ink from underneath, I mean from the stamp itself, does not, because the way the photopolymer is, I guess, it just doesn't press all the way down. So in other words, you don't get a really good image. But someone, and I don't want to say the wrong name and give the wrong credit, but I did see on YouTube, and it was a Stampin' Up demonstrator. She said if you put your piercing mat or something soft, squishy underneath, you're going to get a much better stamp image with the photopolymer. So that's what I have under here, and I'm just going to look down. Trick. They're all good. Alright. So now, make sure we leave room for our T. And I think I got that just a tad bit higher than I wanted it. And then look, I did that. I didn't press all the way because I didn't want to lean forward into the camera. And I messed it up. That is the one good thing with the photopolymer, though, is that you can generally line up. But see, I was so worried about getting my head up there in that camera shot. I decided to go ahead and leave it because it actually gives it a pretty cool look, because I didn't quite get that lined up and in there right. But now, just to kind of eyeball, my head might get up here in this shot. We're going to go down. And then since I kind of got those off, I'm going to re-stamp my T just off to the side a tiny bit, and I kind of went the opposite direction. And let's see, I am going to come up here now and put another T on top of that T. Now, I was trying to show you the technique with the top of, get it over here, the pumpkin and the paper being torn. It's kind of, I'm doing a tattered look, and I'm going to do the edges all the way around on both pumpkins and my little tiny leaf. Kind of want to get your leaves, there we go, or leaves, your layers of paper. You just have to, sometimes you got to rub it a little more. You can actually just do the whole darn thing. Alright, I am back, and I am going to pop a couple of dimensionals on the back of each of my pumpkins. Okay, and I'll go ahead and put this pumpkin here, and then this pumpkin is going to kind of hang over a tad, and let me bring that in for you. That's the pumpkin leaf and some pumpkin vines. Dimensionals as well. Put one in each corner, and I'm going to put one in the middle. Okay. Now I'm trying to decide, is that, yeah, I am. I'm going to go ahead and put this on first. Dreaded, but I'm going to use sticky tape, if I can find the end right there, and that's going on the inside, so I need my sticky strip on this one. For pulling this up, and there it is, it's hiding from me. Your paper piercer works really well. It's just got a little curved hook on the edge. If I can grab it, there we go. Alright, now, alright. Let's bring this around. Let's make sure we are okay. There's a little box done.